for your line of questioning.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you to all the witnesses for appearing at this subcommittee today. I'm very interested to learn more about what AI might have to offer to our economy. I believe AI does have enormous potential. I mentioned at a previous hearing on AI, I am a physician, and I know some of my colleagues now use AI scribes to decrease administrative burden in clinical documentation. I remember back in the day before EHR, when I would bring home paper charts and spend hours dictating patient notes. Now, AI can listen in and sometimes complete hours of paperwork in merely minutes. I have an Amazon distribution center in my district, and I watched as AI was used for sorting, packaging, routing packages. Extremely impressive. These are examples of just tremendous efficiencies of AI in the workplace. But despite the potential benefits, a recent survey showed only 6% of workers believe that AI will lead to more job opportunities for them in the long run. A recent survey found that most workers are worried about AI in the workplace. Mr. Walton, in your testimony today, you explained Jevons paradox, which says that as technology increases the efficiency of how a resource is used, the total consumption of that resource will increase rather than decrease. If this holds true for AI adoption, the technology could actually create more jobs in the long run rather than take jobs away. Can you share examples of how AI efficiency might produce higher economic activity and, if possible, more jobs?
Sure. I mean, we're seeing that already in the coding world. And we're seeing coders being able to do 10 times more of the work that they've been able to do in the past. They've been able to do a lot more output. And if you go back to the internet, for example, there was a lot of fears when the internet was adopted that it's going to cost a lot of jobs. But just think of all the new jobs that the internet created, from cloud computing, from website design, from e-commerce. I mean, I got my daughter here today. Social media influencers. I mean, there's whole new economies and whole new industries that were developed by the internet. Plus, I think, Congressman, AI is going to develop almost more like cottage industries because it's going to give power back to the people more. I mean, I have my phone is like having a Palantir in my pocket now. With these types of AI tools. I can sit at my kitchen table and run a 10-person law firm, just me. So that's going to give power back more to the people to create value for themselves. And so I think we're going to see a lot of that in the future.
Well, in this discussion, I'm reminded of a famous story where the economist Milton Friedman was touring a quarry in China. And he noted that they were using picks and shovels, and he asked the foreman, well, why don't you use, in the United States, this would be run with, tractors and excavators and backhoes. And they said, well, with picks and shovels, we employ more people. And Milton Friedman looked at him and said, then why don't you give them spoons? So, Mr. Kelly, in your testimony, you mentioned the Colorado AI Act, which apparently was so poorly crafted that Colorado's Democrat governor had to tell his legislature to rewrite it. Could you walk us through some of the poorly drafted provisions and lessons that Congress might learn from that experience?
Yeah, I think that it's a prime example of just the rush. I think that they were trying to outpace the EU AI Act, the European Union's AI Act, and as part of that rush, they tried to really kind of force it through because they wanted to be seen as a leader among the states. So on the very day it was signed, the flaws were acknowledged, and they pledged the business community, along with the state attorney general and the state Senate majority leader, pledging that they would revise the law. But the problem is that it was supposed to go into effect earlier this year, and it's been delayed till June. So a lot of the fundamental problems are the same. There's a lot of ambiguity with what the obligations are on developers and deployers. There's a lot of kind of, as far as questions over how should this be interpreted? And so I think that overall it's just very flawed, and it will likely, it's quite possible that it's going to be delayed again. But I think that the New York City law is just as bad in a lot of ways. You know, that law was rushed through. It received a lot of criticism from a wide variety of groups. And as of July of 2023, when it went into effect, it hasn't received one single complaint that we're aware of.
Thank you. I yield back.
I thank the gentleman for yielding.